podcasting, and you. With the advent of the World Wide Web, anyone can record hours of themselves speaking about things they don't understand and make it readily available to people all over the world.
All over the world? Wowie, mister. What kinds of podcasts are there?
Well, young man, there's all sorts. Do you enjoy having a good laugh?
Oh boy, do I.
Then you would enjoy the Thicc Bois podcast.
Thicc Bois?
Podcast. Two funny fellas conversing about all sorts, from airplanes and choo-choos to pee-pee and poo-poos.
Poo-poo?
If you're enjoying the Thicc Bois podcast, why not leave a like, a rating, or a review on your favorite podcast platform? That way more people can find it. Just be careful you don't accidentally listen to a podcast by those commie reds. God bless the Thicc Bois podcast, and God bless America.
Review. He should be done with YouTube anytime now, right? So we can start stealing his bits.
I mean, I don't know how much. I guess he just does it for fun at this point. I mean, what's really.
So I actually saw a video not long ago where he kind of talked about that. Like, I'm not like subscribed to PewDiePie or anything like that.
No.
I don't like. I obviously don't have a problem with him or anything. I just, it's not quite my speed.
Right.
But he was saying that, he's very forward with how much money he's made.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous. Like,
oh, yeah.
Him and his wife bought a house in Japan, and, like, that they live over there now. And
no.
He's like, I don't need money, like, ever. Yeah. He's like, I'm just doing this because I like doing it. So that's...
I was about to say, there's really no point for him to, like, kill himself anymore.
No.
Yeah. I'd be like, I'm going to do maybe, like, one video a week. Like, that's what you're going to get out of me from now on.
I think he does a vlog.
Oh,
like,
really?
Like, in addition to like, I guess what is his normal video? He just, like, he looks at stuff on the internet. All right? From what I've seen,
I was subscribed. I might still be subscribed to him. I know that I was subscribed when he was having that subscriber race between him and T-Series.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're, like, first to get to 100 or something.
Right.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I would imagine at this point it's sort of... Because he does like a meme review, and he has like things that he does on certain days, I think. So I think that's kind of how he schedules out.
Okay.
Like this video format on this day, and then this video format on that day, and then so on and so forth.
Yeah, I think that really the only reason he does it now is just because what else is he going to do?
No, what else am I going to do here?
He has generational wealth that he accumulated in 10 years.
YouTube is a wild place. Like,
it is. It can really make or break somebody.
Right.
And it breaks a lot of people.
Yeah. Just chews them up and spits them out.
It does. I've seen some pretty harsh downfalls on that fucking platform.
Like a H3H3.
Yeah, oh my God. What a mess. Like, I remember like the first video I saw by Ethan was the Vape Nash video. Where he was going around vaping on people in New York or whatever. And I thought that was like an actually funny video. Yeah. I haven't watched it in a long time, and it might be kind of dated at this point. But then, like, I didn't really watch any of his stuff until like several years later. And it was I think he has a podcast that he does with his wife, and he just like has like the worst takes.
Yeah, just awful hot takes on everything.
Yeah, on everything. And I'm like, who is this fucking guy? And he apparently got in like some like shit fest with what is her name? It's this. She's kind of a bigger blonde girl that is like kind of a ditz.
Liz Cheney.
Liz Cheney. All right, Fox News. Why don't we calm down a little bit over there? Fucking scathing. Oh man, no, it's something Paytas. Trisha Paytas.
I don't know who that is.
I think that's her name.
Is this like an online personality person?
Yeah. I don't
know who any of these people are. I know like the old guard.
Yeah, the old guard. Yeah. I know that. I know her name because I knew that there was a big beef between him and her, and then like she like like her nudes got leaked or something like that, and she had like this botched like tit job
Oh,
thing going
no.
on, and that wasn't very good.
How awful.
Yeah.
I would rather have just bad tits instead of like a bad tit job.
Yeah. It looked like she was wearing football pads.
Oh no.
It's like, can I make funny? I don't want to, body shame anybody, but if you go and you get bad boobs, you went and got those, right? So that's different than me making fun of like how your body grew.
Right.
You went and got those horrible things put on you.
And like you would think too that, and I would imagine like whoever this person is, like they probably have like a substantial following. So, I mean, I really don't know like what the kind of money that people make in that arena. I would imagine it's substantial. They're probably making a couple $100,000 a year.
Well, Ethan makes a lot of money.
Right.
He makes a ton of money.
I'm assuming that this person is probably high profile enough for him to try to start beef with this person.
Yeah.
So they must make okay money. I would say at least $100,000 a year.
Yeah.
Right. Which, I mean, nowadays is really not that much.
It's really not.
Comparatively.
No. Yeah.
But, I mean, I would imagine that if I was going to go get plastic surgery, I would like save up enough money to go to somebody who's like a reputable plastic surgeon with lots of good reviews.
Yeah, not like, Dr. Guillermo in Tijuana. I'm going to go see him. Yeah, there's I don't know. I think some people know that like any press is good press or like bad press is good press.
Right,
so
right.
like any drama that they can kick up is going to be lucrative to some degree. I mean, there's even YouTubers that only cover like drama on YouTube. What's the YouTube drama that's going on,
That seems so exhausting.
It really does. Like, just constantly keeping up with that shit.
Right.
Like, who's fucking up this week?
I mean, you'd have to be like, I could see somebody in their early 20s doing that.
Yeah. But
just being somebody who's in my early 30s, I can't imagine.
Yeah.
It sounds insufferable.
Yeah, it really does. Speaking of YouTube drama, there was kind of a big one going on with Logan Paul. Did you hear about any of that?
Mm-mm.
So Logan Paul had this cryptocurrency thing that he was trying to do called Crypto Zoo.
Yeah.
It was like a game where you buy eggs. Like in this game, not like real eggs.
Yeah.
There's nothing real about this.
Like you send some eggs to you.
You buy these eggs and they hatch into NFTs, which are just pictures.
It sounds like loot box.
Well, I mean, it's a scam regardless of what it is. If you've ever heard the term NFT, it means non-fungible token. Right. All that means is that it's basically a file that you own that can be verified that you own it because of the blockchain.
Right.
So anyway, he was trying to get this like crypto game up and running off the ground or whatever, and he had a bunch of people dump a bunch of money into this thing and buy
like a bunch of investors.
Yeah,
or like people who are playing the game.
Well, kind of both, I think.
Yeah,
and some people were out like hundreds of thousands of dollars to put. Yeah, like big money got put into this thing. Well, there's a YouTuber called CoffeeZilla. Yeah. And he does like investigative journalism. And so he, released like this 3-part series detailing like how Logan Paul was absolutely
this is a scam.
Scamming the ever living fuck out of everybody. Right. And it went on for a while, and then like Logan Paul released like a retort video. No. It was 7 minutes of like, it essentially amounted to Logan Paul being like, well, CoffeeZilla is ugly and a big dumb doo-doo head.
Oh, nice. Nice. Is Logan, I always get him and his brother mixed up. Is Logan Paul the one that got in trouble for the Suicide Force deal?
Yeah, that's him. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
His brother's the one that's doing boxing now, right?
I think his brother's doing boxing, and I want to say he's in the WWE too.
Oh, he does WWE appearances?
So both of them have ridden their like clout like a long way. I mean, you can't really.
I'm really more impressed with Jake's hustle because Jake is like boxing people.
Yeah,
and like he's he's promoting. Obviously, he's not boxing real boxers because he get the shit kicked out of him.
Yeah.
But he's still fighting like retired MMA guys,
Yeah.
like people that would fuck other people up.
Yeah, like I couldn't get in the ring with one of those guys.
I couldn't get in the ring with Anderson Silva for a boxing match.
God, no.
So there's
I wouldn't want to get in the ring with fucking Ronda Rousey.
Right. So like from that standpoint, like I respect his hustle a little bit more because there had to be some work that got put in there.
Oh yeah.
You know,
you can't really fake that.
Right.
Yeah, I haven't really been following it per se. I've just been seeing a lot of stuff about it like on the internet. So on Twitter, of course, everybody's memeing the hell out of it and shitting on him and everything. And of course, Andrew Tate, he got into a little bit of hot water recently, and he blamed the Matrix for everything, for his downfall. And it was kind of funny because after Logan Paul's rug pull didn't quite go the way he wanted to, he was like, "Yeah, dude, the Matrix is real." I was like, "No, you're just a fucking piece of shit scam artist, and you got caught." That's all it is. There's not some grand scheme against you. You're just a fucking garbage clout goblin.
I never heard like who this Andrew Tate person was until I guess essentially like he got pulled off all the platforms, and that's when I heard about him. Like who this person was.
When he got deplatformed, that's when I heard about.
Right,
who he was.
Supposed to be like his deal was like the alpha male deal or whatever, right?
He apparently he was real big in like the kickboxing world. He was like a champion or something, champion fighter.
I had heard, because the reason why I know this is because I guess Joe Rogan was talking about it, and apparently the way that kickboxing works is it's not like UFC. Like there's a bunch of different federations like boxing, where you can be world champion in one of those federations, and a certain federation might not be as good as another federation.
I didn't know that.
So he was a world champion in a federation. But comparatively to like some of the better federations, he wasn't world champion. Not to say that he couldn't kick the shit out of a lot of people.
Yeah.
Like he couldn't be like, fucking loser.
He I didn't know a whole bunch about him until I saw people complaining about him.
Yeah.
And he like you said, he was like this, kind of like you need to do these things to be an alpha male, and like don't spend time around low value women and this, that, and the other. Well, what he got in trouble for. Initially, it said that he got he got arrested for like some kind of
like human trafficking,
something to do with
right?
human trafficking. But I think that ended up being fake. Like it was for something else. I don't know. I don't think anybody really knows what's going on right now. There's a lot of it's probably this flying around.
Yeah.
But the way he got dinged was he tweeted at Greta Thunberg, who is like I'm pretty sure she's like 16 or something. And that
bitch has been 16 for a long ass time.
She has. I don't know how old she is.
She's in her 20s now. But people keep saying she's a teen. I'm like, no, she's not.
All I know is that she's like a climate change activist, and she's really annoying. She's really pushing people away from doing something good for the world just because she's annoying.
Because she's insufferable.
She's insufferable. But he tweeted at her like kind of like this very braggadocious tweet about it, like
he's like, I drive a really fast car.
Yeah, he's like I drive all these cars and they put out this much carbon emission and blah blah blah. And then she tweeted back at him. It was like, please, I would love to hear more. Email me at something like smalldickenergy@gmail.com or whatever. And it was like everyone pretended like that was like some big gotcha moment.
Yeah,
I was like, that's kind of a lame tweet.
You're right.
But it really got him in his feelings. It very, very much did. So then he posted this video of him talking some nonsense or whatever, and he's wearing like a bathrobe and smoking a cigar.
Yeah.
And somebody comes and puts some pizza boxes in front of him.
Right.
But the name of the pizza boxes are for a pizza chain in Romania.
Right.
And so the Romanian authorities were like, hey, we've been looking for this Andrew Tate guy. He's clearly in Romania.
Right.
So they went and got his ass.
Did you see her tweet after that? She said that's what happens when you don't recycle your pizza boxes.
That's pretty good.
I was like, that was a good zinger.
Yeah,
I like that one.
That's a good one. I like that. See, you just want to ask him, like, was it really worth it, dude?
Right.
Like, just shut up. It's, it's just some girl that, is being puppeted by the New World Order. Just leave her alone.
Leave her alone.
Leave her alone.
Yeah, that whole, like, I guess subsection of the internet is really kind of, it's not fascinating, more or less. It's just it amazes me that people really get caught up in it.
Yeah.
Sort of like, what's the other one? They're the two black guys that have the podcast down in Miami, Fresh and Fit.
I never heard of that.
Yeah, so Fresh and Fit, they do like the same, like don't spend time with like low value women, and they like bring all these whores onto their podcast.
They bring a lot of low value women.
Yeah, low value women on, and then, they argue with them the whole time. So, like that whole arena or whatever, like it's amazing to me how they'll like argue with these women or whatever.
Yeah,
and then the women will get a zinger in. And then, then they get all pissed off about it.
Oh, yeah, they get it gets them.
Then they become just like venomous.
Yeah, just the like most fragile of egos. Yeah. Who was that guy, that black guy that he passed away recently? You know who I'm talking about? He did the exact same thing, talking about low value women and
who
you got to hustle and all this stuff.
Who I know exactly, Kevin Samuels.
Kevin Samuels.
Yeah, Kevin Samuels.
Yeah, he I think he died of a heart attack or something in Atlanta, I'm pretty sure.
I think I'd heard that.
Yeah. But yeah, now that I think about it, there's been a lot of those. Like,
oh yeah, this is very popular.
Like these, quote unquote influencers that'll, they try to drive home this like alpha male thing or whatever. And it's like, I feel that, today's youth, especially young men, are probably in need of some kind of guidance.
Right.
I think that most kids are growing up in like fatherless homes and don't really have like a male figure. You don't have like a male figure. Yeah. And there's different reasons for that, but also like that drives them into the arms of these guys who are fucking extremists.
Right.
And on the other side of things, there's people on the other the half of that corn half of that
on the other half of the cornfield.
Yeah, who are doing the same thing. So you just have like these generations of like psychopaths,
right?
That are just growing up and feuding with one another,
and then like they have these groups of people that are just flocking to them.
Yeah, it's crazy. There's nobody in the middle who's like nobody's offering any good advice,
right? And what the thing is too is like I was never like really like you see like some people are like disciples of like these people or whatever.
Yeah.
Like I felt like Jordan B. Peterson, like he had some good points. Like he was like, you try to do the most difficult thing that you can do, and you like provide value to those around you.
Yeah.
It's like, but he's progressively gotten more and more crazy.
Yeah.
And I think maybe it's just like the longer amount of time you spend in that arena, like
the less crazy it seems.
Like the less crazy it seems, and the more you just like feud with these people.
I think like the further deep in you are, and it's all you're seeing, it's like, oh, this is just normal.
Right.
Yeah.
Whereas like you should probably just like go take a walk and
just go out into public.
Yeah.
And just interact with people.
Right.
Like people are just kind of going about their day for the most part.
Right. Yeah, I feel like if you spend too much time on the internet, like in these silos, it's not good for you. It's really bad.
These echo chambers.
Right.
Yeah, it's really, really bad. Like I kind of started, this happens with a lot of things, but I kind of started out using Twitter just kind of ironically using Twitter, and then now I'll log on Twitter quite a bit.
Yeah.
So it's like, I think it got me. But just seeing like the way people think and the way that they speak about each other and the things that they'll post about themselves out into this public space, it's like, what the fuck are you doing?
Right.
Some things don't need to be said ever. It's like it's such a far cry from like Facebook.
Oh yeah.
Where you share like pictures of your kids.
Right.
These people are talking about their genitalia, and it's like 50-year-old dudes.
Right. Yeah, it's always kind of insane to me how different social media platforms attract different types of people.
Oh, yeah.
So, like, Facebook is very much like Boomer Book.
Oh, yeah. Oh,
Like,
yeah, absolutely.
Right?
Yeah.
So I still enjoy Facebook a lot.
I do, too.
I like the format of it.
Really
it's the one I'm most comfortable with.
Yeah, I really like Facebook because it's so easy to get a rise out of people.
Oh, yeah.
It's so easy.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and a lot of like the tag. I've been joining a lot of tag groups recently, and those are all very fun, especially the really hateful ones. I like to find these tag groups that are like, just kind of like this like gutter scum, like, and they like go in there and just see the people who are taking it really seriously,
Right.
and just kind of like poke them, and just like get them all worked up.
But yeah, like Facebook, it does a lot of that, right?
Yeah.
So there's like tag groups and just memeing on people the entire time.
Yeah.
And I feel like Twitter,
But it's very compartmentalized.
right?
You have to go out of your way to get to that
Right,
stuff.
correct.
Yeah.
Say most of my Facebook feed is like people I went to high school with, like they're showing pictures of their kids,
Yeah.
and like I follow a lot of like libertarian pages, so I get a lot of that stuff.
Yeah.
Like stuff, you have to be like very specific about what it is that you're looking for in Facebook. I don't feel like a lot of stuff that I don't necessarily want to see gets pushed on me there.
Right, yeah.
Like whatever they're doing with the algorithm there is very concentrated, or maybe that's
Yeah.
just the way that I'm interacting with the platform.
It's probably like a combination of both.
Right.
Yeah.
Whereas like with and I've probably spent 30 minutes on Twitter like throughout my entire life.
Yeah.
But from the outside looking in, that looks like a fucking insane asylum.
Yeah, really, it is. It is. I had compared it to like a big atrium, I
Right.
think, once before, and I still think that's an apt description. Because it's like the whole of Twitter's users are all in one room together, and they're not all talking about the same thing, and they don't all think the same way.
Right.
And it's just a fucking
Just a screaming
match.
match.
Yeah, it's just a big screaming match.
And then of course like Instagram. For me, Instagram. Well, and also
Instagram's probably the one I've used the least.
right.
I've
So
never really been on Instagram.
for me, it seems like Instagram. Mostly, what that is like fitness influencers like posting pictures of like their ass, and like people like trying to get like clothing deals and stuff.
Yeah.
Is mostly kind of what it seems to me like. That's what that is.
Is there a lot of people like selling things on Instagram?
Like Etsy stores and stuff, or
Well, I mean like MLM stuff, like Sensi Solutions, and it seems like the perfect place for that. Like if you had a big enough following,
I would imagine like if you interacted with that stuff
Yeah.
enough, you could probably see it. But just because like I follow some like fitness like influencer type deals, like
Yeah.
the algorithm thinks like I follow like Mark Bell, who like does like a lot of lifting and running and that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Like that's kind of what I follow. That and, like barbecue.
yeah, like a nice little, like, to cancel each other
Right.
out.
So
Yeah.
that's sort of what I get is like all Traeger stuff and like lifting and running.
Smoke a brisket, go for a ride.
So I guess the way that people interact with the fitness influencer community is like a lot of it is like there's some good information on there, like a lot of like helpful information or whatever. But a lot of it is just like people like trying to sell their workout plans and like people try to like sell their like spicy photos.
Yeah,
It seems to me like that's sort of
Right.
what that community happens to be.
yeah. I used Instagram a little bit, like back when the band had an Instagram page. Like, if we posted anything, I'd kind of just go in there and clear notifications, which it just seems to be like that's what I mostly do on everything
Right.
is just clear notifications, make the red bubble go away. And I, like sometimes I would hit like I guess just a home button or like the search button or whatever, and it would bring up like all these tiles of things that it's like, do you want to look at any of this stuff? And like it's just a bunch of half naked people.
Yeah.
Like these big giant asses just all up and down my phone. And I was like, I'm not really looking to get into all that right now. Like I'm standing in line at Kroger. Like, I don't need to.
You have like somebody's ass hanging out of a thong and you got like a rotisserie chicken in your hand.
Yeah. Twitter's bad about that too. Like you never know what is going to be.
Is it with
on the
Twitter
page
like
when
they
you open
actually
it.
allow porn on the? Is
There's
that
a ton
the
of
one?
porn on Twitter.
Well,
There's a ton of porn on Twitter.
yeah, I had heard that with Twitter, like that's like a big thing with Twitter. I guess
Yeah.
because they allow it, and they're one of the only ones that do allow it.
Yeah, Twitter does it. It'll just show up right in the middle of your.
You're like, whoa!
You'll just be like scrolling along and like, there's a wiener, and you're like, I didn't ask to see that. It's funny too because like there's been several instances of when you like something on Twitter, that information is public. Everybody can see that.
Right.
So there's been a lot of instances of like famous celebrities liking some like risque things.
Yeah. Some questionable material.
Yeah, and I think Samuel Jackson recently liked some.
I saw that.
Some of this. And then somebody else went and liked a bunch of pictures of feet.
Oh, really?
Yeah, who was that? That was as a matter of fact, that was Bob Odenkirk. He plays Saul on Breaking Bad.
Oh, really?
And it's interesting that I bring that up.
That seems like that fits the character.
Yeah, I can see Saul being a feet guy.
He'd totally play it off, be like, I was just trying to stay in character.
Yeah, this is method acting. Yeah. The reason I want to bring him up is tonight, Mary and I watched Nobody. Have you seen that?
Mm-mm.
So, it's a movie with Bob Odenkirk, and it's like an action movie, which he doesn't seem like an action character.
Yeah.
And the whole time I'm watching this, I'm like, I just see Saul.
Right.
Saul Goodman. That's who I'm seeing doing all this.
Right.
And it seems like it seemed very derivative of like John Wick. You know, like he was like I'm not in that life anymore. And like, I'm doing it again. You know?
Yeah. They keep dragging me back.
Yeah,
in.
Deep Throat need to call in a favor. You know, that kind of thing. And it's got Christopher Lloyd in it too.
Really?
Who I'm pretty sure is kind of being made entirely out of dust. He's so fucking old, and it's not a bad movie. It's got some good, well choreographed fight scenes,
Right.
but there's your suspension of disbelief can only go so far when you're watching a movie like that. Like that's why The Expendables works,
Right.
because you had like this this motley crew of all these action heroes, all the big action guys were in this movie, so it kind of works. Like even though it's over the top and it's a little ridiculous, like it's still it's I won't say believable. But you're not kind of like, meh.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know about that. But, yeah, with Bob Odenkirk, I'm just like, I don't know. I wasn't feeling it.
Yeah.
I love Bob Odenkirk. It's not to say anything bad about him. I just don't think that...
For that type of movie.
Yeah, he doesn't sell the action hero to me. You know?
Well, I mean, it takes a very special actor in order to be able to kind of do multiple things.
Yeah.
Right? Like, who is it? Like, Gerard Butler's a really good one.
Yeah.
He can do a lot of different things. Like he's not like of course he was Leonidas in 300, which is probably going to go down as like his most famous movie of all time.
You think so?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Like he was really good in Law Abiding Citizen too. Like that was a different kind of movie that he did. Yeah. And I thought that was a fantastic movie.
Yeah, I love that movie.
But I think like he's so well known for 300.
Yeah.
Like he was big before that, of course. Like he'd done like some like rom-coms and stuff like that.
Like
and
P.S.
then,
I Love You.
Right.
Yeah.
And then he did that.
Yeah.
Right.
And then he's more of an action guy though.
Right.
Like I think the majority of what he's done is action.
Right.
Like he did the Olympus Has Fallen and London Has Fallen.
Yeah.
Those two movies, which are pretty decent action flicks.
Yeah, I mean they're okay, but yeah, I think it's one of those deals. Like I think he's at the point in his career where he's just like, is this a safe movie to do? Like I don't have to really take chances anymore. Like I'm the draw, like not the movie.
They're coming to see me.
Right.
Yeah. Action movies are kind of they for me they kind of go the way that comic book movies do.
Right.
Where like if you showed me like a 3-second clip of one, I couldn't tell you what that's from.
Right.
You know, without seeing like, the main actor's like face for an extended period of time, like they just seem to run together to me.
Like it has to be a very specific one. Like if you showed something from like Transformers, of course you'd know, because it's got these like that
big mechanical mess,
that mismatch of whatever the fuck that was that went across the screen. Yeah. And I think we've probably talked about that before, like the fight in like the Egyptian like ruins or whatever.
Yeah, you can't tell what the fuck you're looking at.
What the fuck was that?
Yeah. Some computer like smoked every capacitor it had to render that scene. I can't even tell you what I just saw.
Is that the one where Shia LaBeouf is like running towards the camera and like it just kind of like goes by him in the background?
Yeah.
Because I remember like I've watched that scene a couple times. I don't know what that is.
It just looks like a big scrapyard rolling past. It's awful. Speaking of him, you've seen that movie Fury?
Oh, that was a fantastic movie.
That is an incredible movie.
I love that movie.
Everybody in that movie did an awesome job.
He was in that movie. Brad Pitt was in that movie. The guy from The Walking Dead. What's his name?
He plays Frank Castle in the Punisher series too.
Yes.
It's John something. John Bernthal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's a good actor too. I like him a lot.
I love him as Punisher.
Yeah, he was a good Punisher.
He's a great Punisher. Yeah.
But yes, Fury was a fantastic movie. I loved that movie.
Yeah. Did you know that Shia LaBeouf pulled a tooth out of his own head?
Yes.
For that movie because he thought that his character should be missing a tooth.
Yep.
I found that out today. I've seen that movie about 5 times and never noticed that he was missing a tooth. So I don't know if it was really worth it.
He's one of the. He kind of fucking went insane.
Yeah.
Like I watched. Have you ever seen the Internet? Is it Internet Historian?
Are you talking about He Will Not Divide Us, the whole flag fiasco? Yeah, that's one of the most incredible things. I think we talked about that like in one of our earlier episodes.
Right.
But like for anybody listening, go watch Internet Historian's video about He Will Not Divide Us.
Right.
And just the absolute insanity of that whole thing. Like people like tracking flight patterns to figure out where this flag is. And like the way that the light cascades on the wall to figure out that it was in this region of the world.
That was the wildest one, was the one at the end.
Yeah.
And then they sent some dude with a bunch of pizzas to drop off some pizzas. And he's like, yeah, it's in there.
Yeah. Yeah, that was kind of it.
Right. And it sort of ended there. But that was the wildest one to me, that they took enough time to be like, oh, the way that the sunlight is hitting this. And they were like, what time is it?
Yeah.
And then they just kind of narrowed it down.
It's amazing that, like...
You can't get away with anything.
Not a damn thing. If they want to find you bad enough, they're going to find you. And these are just dudes on the internet.
Right. These are just 4chan people.
These are just 4chan basement-dwelling idiots. They play like Microsoft Flight Sim all day long. We're able to figure that shit out.
That's a website that I've actually never been to.
Oh, 4chan?
I've never been to 4chan.
I used to go to 4chan a lot, like, way back. Like, when I got my first laptop.
Right.
And if I was ever going to be indoctrinated, it was going to be then. So I don't know how I didn't become that way. But yeah, I used to go on B all the time just to see what people were doing.
Was that the one that was kind of like the main, it's like the main thread or whatever?
So each of this
so is it set up like Reddit where like you have like a subreddit and then you have posts inside the subreddit?
So you have like there's different ones. Yeah, it's kind of that way. So like B was a board for random.
Okay.
So B was kind of like the catch-all for anything and everything.
Oh, that sounds...
Yeah. So. And then you had TV, which was, of course, was for television, and then POL, poll, was for politics. And you know what? You have never seen anything as racist as some of the shit that gets posted on poll.
I bet.
I mean, like people talking about like physiognomy and like whatever it is that study of like black people's skulls to tell why they were so inferior.
Like the fucking what's that movie?
Django Unchained.
Yeah, Django Unchained.
There was a name for that field of study. It was just nonsense. It was like pseudoscience.
Yeah.
But like those people in there genuinely believe that shit. They like have all these like they will have these arguments with one another. They're so vile.
Right.
But they're backing it up with like scholarly sources. It's really something to behold.
Yeah.
But yeah, then of course they had a ton of porn too. So
yeah, of course.
Of course, the porn is going to be the big draw, no matter what site you have.
Right.
It was like was that Scrubs episode? He said if the internet got rid of all the porn, there'd only be one website left, and it'd be called "Bring Back the Porn."
Yeah, it seems to me like with just from the outside looking in, like 4chan is like the direct opposite of what Reddit is. Like as far as like the kind of people that use that platform.
I would say it's more or less the direct opposite of Twitter.
Oh, really?
Because I think Twitter on the whole is very left-leaning, very, very extreme.
I feel the same way about Reddit, but maybe that's because I spend more time
on it. Reddit is too. Reddit is too, but Twitter's worse.
Okay.
Twitter's more vocal.
Okay.
And more vile.
Oh, okay.
People will be in there like defending the most like rancid ideologies.
Right.
Like progressive ideologies that you've ever heard.
Right.
Like we should take all the pedophiles and, just give them 5 minutes just to get it out.
Yeah.
Like I've seen that idea passed around a couple times. People genuinely believe that shit. Like maybe if they just did it, they don't want to do it anymore.
Yeah. God, he's a fucking idiot.
So we just find the people who want to be murderers, and we let them
murder you.
Murder
some people.
We'll let them murder you.
Yeah.
If you want to
just get it out of your system.
Yeah, go ahead and get it out. Yeah, it's just a world of extremes. The internet. There's no middle ground.
No.
Anywhere. It's either you're 100% this way or you're 100% that way.
Right.
And if you're in the middle, then 100% of everybody on the internet is against you.
Right.
So, I mean,
you think that maybe the people on the internet, like,
it's the people who are chronically online,
right,
terminally online,
right? Like, I think that maybe, and I've heard this expressed before, is that the reason why people act the way that they do on the internet is for like some of the vile opinions that they have, is that you could not say that to somebody else's face.
No. You wouldn't say that. Those people wouldn't say that.
Right.
Every now and then somebody slips up and they forget that they're not on the internet.
Yeah, they think they're still on the internet.
And you can always see it, too. As soon as it comes past their lips, they're like, oh, I feel the sun on me. I'm outside.
Right.
So a real person heard me say this.
Right. I'm probably going to get my ass kicked now.
Yeah. Yeah, a lot of those, I say that, but you have these streamers who will just stream their whole lives, like their daily goings on.
Yeah,
like,
to me that seems like a mental illness.
Out in public, like you'll see them walking around in the grocery store, streaming themselves, buying this, that, and the other.
Right.
And of course, these people have hundreds of thousands of followers. Right. People are throwing money at them all day long. And
they're like doing some stupid fucking prank or whatever.
Yeah,
they're like, I'm going to do a prank where I stomp on somebody's toes.
Yeah. What the fuck? Or run up and kick this guy's dog.
Yeah. Like, no, that's assault. Like, you stupid fuck.
Streamers are some of the worst as far as like downfalls go.
Oh yeah.
Because from what I can tell, streaming is a very volatile thing to be a part of as far as like your fan base goes.
Right. They'll turn on you in a second.
In a split second. And
it's just the mob.
That's all it is.
It's just the mob.
Like, who is it? Wings of Redemption. Down the rabbit hole, we've talked about him before. He has a great video on Wings of Redemption. It's like a 3-hour-long video.
Oh, really?
Because there's that much to cover.
Oh, boy.
And that video, I think, got posted in like 2017. It was 6 years ago, and Wings is still out there fucking shit up.
Really?
So, I mean, there might be a part 2 coming one day. I hope there is. Dark Side Phil. You know Dark Side Phil? Dude who jerked off live on his stream?
Remember that.
That video is so fucking funny because you can't see anything.
Right.
It's like
it's like head is like neck up.
Yeah, it's like mid chest up or whatever. Right. But it's very clear what he's doing.
Yeah.
And then like he just like throws his head back. And he completes.
Right.
And then he just starts playing his video game. No cleanup. He didn't gather himself. He just got right back into it. And then he looks over at the camera and goes, oh, the camera's on the whole time. Hey, everybody.
Oh, Jesus. It's like, how far down do you have to go?
You gotta be down.
Like, where you're like the video game jerk-off guy. Oh, Crusty Fingers video game jerk-off guy. eating fucking Doritos and drinking Mountain Dew.
Munchkin Puncher 69.
Yeah. Like, I don't understand.
It's such an unfortunate thing. And because, like, at the point that happened, he was already in a downfall.
Right.
So
yeah, he was not, his trajectory was not going upwards.
And I think he's one of those cases of people, they just can't look away.
Right.
Like, he's just such a circus.
It's like that Nikocado avocado person,
It's the exact
right?
same thing. It is the exact same thing. It's just the dark side. Phil has got him by he's about 200 pounds lighter than he is. That might be generous.
Yeah, that's another one I don't really understand. Is like the whole like watch me eat all this stuff.
Oh yeah, mukbang.
Yeah, I don't get it.
I don't know if those are still as popular as they used to be. But when they first came around, that was a Korean thing. Mukbang is a Korean word, I guess.
Gluttony.
I guess probably. But yeah, the people would just sit in front of a camera and just eat copious amounts of food, just like tons of shit, and like they'd be like right here in the mic, just like sucking down a king crab leg.
Ugh.
And I can't. That grosses me out to watch. Like people with just like shit all over their face, just like seasoning all over their face,
like Old Bay,
like sucking the juice off a chicken leg.
Yeah. Ugh.
It just makes me want to go get in the shower.
Yeah.
But those people make millions of dollars doing that stuff.
That's so wild.
Isn't it?
It's like, what have we done as a society that like these people are making that much money by just like being gluttonous?
The only thing that makes me feel better about it,
like I'm gluttonous, but I do it in the privacy of my own home. Like I don't broadcast it for everybody else to see.
I mean,
there should be some shame attached to it.
Yeah, but I mean, you're not, even on your most gluttonous day, you couldn't be anything like some of these people.
I don't know. The people, if you saw me at Buckner's.
Well, that was different. You were at college for like, what, 3 years?
Right.
And then you got a first like actual meal outside of like saltine crackers and cake mix. You ate so much food. Like I've never seen, we were there for like 2.5 hours and you were still eating. And
still some of the best food I've ever had in my life.
Oh, yeah, dude, Buckner's is the shit. And it was like an hour and a half away from the house. Like, we drove all the way from up here down there to go eat that. And I remember getting back in the car, and you couldn't even sit in the seat.
No, I
like,
had to
you
lay
were in
down.
so much pain, you had to lay down on the floor of the car and just moan.
Like, I've eaten a lot before, but I think that's the only time in my life I've been in physical pain from the amount of food that I've eaten. Like, I've been uncomfortable before, like after like a Thanksgiving dinner or whatever, but not like actively regretting the decision.
For me, it was definitely the first time I smoked weed.
Oh, yeah.
Should I tell that story? This will be the third time I've tried to tell that story on the podcast.
Let's tell it again.
The first 2 times I tried to tell that story, we lost the recording. And we're about an hour into this one. So
looks like we're still recording right now.
We're still going back there. So before we jump into it, though, we'll bring in the podcast. Hello, everybody, and welcome to the 54th episode of the Thicc Bois podcast. Thank you, everybody, for being here. Thank you for all the constant support. We've been getting a good amount of fan interaction recently.
Yes, I think
people
so.
sending in messages and things of that nature. So we really like that. Keep it coming. We enjoy, talking about topics that you guys send us and all those types of things. So, yeah, so my first time smoking weed story. So let's go back. I was in college and I had met a friend of mine that I had made in college. His name was John. And we called him John College because anytime I talked about him, I was like, my friend John from college. And I was like, okay, John College. I was hanging out with him, and they wanted to smoke weed. And I had never done it before. And I was always pretty straight edge. Like, up till this point, like, I was way out of college before I even had a first drink of alcohol. Like, I was very straight edge. He was like, we want to smoke weed, but we don't have any. He's like, so we'll just scrape the resin off of this bowl and smoke that. So that was my first experience ever smoking weed, was smoking resin, which is apparently pretty strong.
Yeah.
And So we were all just kind of sitting around on his couch because he stayed at a dorm at the college.
No.
And we were sitting there, and I was smoking with him, and I was like, man, I'm really disappointed in weed.
No.
Like, this is lame. I don't feel anything. Like, all it does is stink and it tastes bad. And I was like, why do people do this? And so eventually I looked down at my phone, and it's like 10:30. And I was like, I'm usually home about 4 hours before now. I was like, I need to get going. So I only have like a 30-minute commute, from the college to my house. So I go to stand up and go to leave to go home, and when I stood up off the couch, I felt all the blood drain into my legs, and John was standing in front of me, and all of a sudden he got really far away. He went all the way, like 100 feet away, like pew. And I don't know how long I stood there and stared at him, because when I came to, John was going, Gary, dude. I was like, I gotta go home. He was like, are you okay to drive? And I was like, yeah, I'm fine. I totally wasn't.
Yeah, absolutely
was not. But I was like, I gotta get home. I don't know what's happening. So I go in to get my car, and I go to leave, and I'm driving home, and I don't feel good. Like, I feel very upset. Because I'm violently high, and I don't want to be. And I'm in the fast lane, the left lane, and I'm going way too fast. Like I'm like gotta be going like 100 miles an hour. And I look down at the speedometer, I'm going 25. And the speed limit's like 65. And I was like, oh shit. I was like, okay, I just gotta watch that needle go up and make the numbers match. I was like, and then I have to do that because I'll get pulled over for going too slow. And I was like, okay, I just got to do that. And then I was like, I need something to take my mind off. I want to listen to some music. And so I plugged up my phone in my car. And it immediately started playing this YouTube video that I was showing John called Ronald McDonald Insanity. And it was like the 10-hour version. And if you don't know what that is, go ahead and go look it up, and it'll paint a broader picture for you.
Now.
So I'm driving home. I'm really high. I'm listening to Ronald McDonald Insanity. And then all of a sudden, I start feeling that my teeth are too close together.
No.
And I'm like, if I get home and my teeth are too close together, Mom and Dad are going to know I'm high. So I stick my fingers in my mouth, and I try to keep my teeth spread apart. So I'm like driving really fucking slow in the left lane, listening to that fucking song. But yeah, so by the time I got home, it had been like, I don't know, an hour and a half. It took me an hour and a half to drive like 15 miles.
No.
And I walk in, and I walk into the kitchen, because at Mom and Dad's house, you walk into the kitchen first. I walk in, and Mom and Dad are sitting there at the bar. And I was like, fuck. Yeah. And they just kind of looked at me like, hey, how you doing? We cooked dinner.
Oh.
And Mom had made chicken tacos and a Tostino's, like, oven-baked pizza.
Yeah.
And I was like, fuck yes. I was like, I've never been so hungry in my life. And I ate until about 1 o'clock in the morning, just shoving shit just down my throat, just eating everything. And I remember at one point, like, Dad came back into the kitchen, and I was wearing sunglasses. And Dad came in, and I remember him putting his hand on my shoulder. Yeah. I don't know if he said anything to me or what. I didn't even look up at him.
He was in a daze.
Yeah. I remember him putting his hand on my shoulder, and then he left. He went back into I guess to go to bed. But I finished eating, and I went and I laid down in bed. And as soon as I laid down in bed and, like, all that food shifted, I immediately got sober. Because the amount of pain I was in was unbearable. I thought I was going to fucking die. I had to have eaten about 20 pounds of just whatever was in the kitchen.
Oh, good.
Yeah, it was not fun. My first weed experience was not a good experience.
No.
And I haven't really touched the stuff since.
I've only really ever had like one bad weed experience. It was when I was out in California, and I had gone to a dispensary out there, and so I like went out. And
was that like a When in Rome type of thing?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So of course, like I went out there, and I was talking to the people at the counter, and it's very just like, hey man, like what do you want? Like what are you looking for? I was like, weed.
Like just weed.
Yeah, weed. I don't know. And the guy's like, oh, okay, well we've got this one. You can try it.
Yeah.
And so it's just like a blunt or whatever. It's like one blunt in this pack.
Yeah.
And he like hands it to me. Well, apparently, this fucker sold me a blunt that was like about yay long. So it's about that long.
Yeah.
And it was dipped in. It was dipped in the not oil, but
like wax.
Wax.
Yeah.
Like the weed. Like
THC wax.
THC wax. Like they dipped it in the wax, and then they put the keef all over it, which is essentially the resin.
Yeah.
So they like took all the resin and sprinkled it all over it. So on the outside,
like a little artisan
right.
duty.
So, and I like get back to the hotel, and I open it up. I'm like, oh, I'm gonna smoke this thing, and I'll go to bed.
Yeah.
Like I can chill out and then go, order some DoorDash and then go to bed.
Yeah.
And so I turn over the pack and I look at it. And the name of the weed that they have is called Hand of God.
Oh God!
So I'm like, interesting. And so I open the pack. And I smoke it, and like I smoke the whole thing, and then I'm just like hanging out outside, and then all of a sudden, like I can hear my heart pumping in my head.
Uh-oh.
And then like
all your blood vessels like widened.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like bo bo like, and I'm like oh fuck.
Like leaning against the wall. What the fuck is that? Who's there?
So like I get up to the room and I'm like having a panic attack. And so I'm like brushing my teeth. And it's like, I don't know, probably like 11 o'clock at night. And I'm like panicking the whole time brushing my teeth. And so like I'm brushing my teeth, and like all I can think is like I just have to get to sleep. If I can sleep it off,
yeah, I'll be
then,
fine.
Yeah, in the morning I'll be okay. And then I was like, and then in my panic, I was like, what if I'm never okay? And so the whole time, like I'm panicking, like laying in the bed. I'm like, what if it's always like this?
What if it's just this way forever? I permanently damaged myself.
I'm just like in the bed, like crying.
Were you like sobbing?
So I'm in the bed, just like tears coming out of my eyes, and I was just like, I'm gonna have to learn to live this way.
Like you lost a limb. Like that girl that couldn't stop hiccuping for 18 years.
Oh God, that sounds awful.
The next time we have Chris on the show, we should have him tell us about his salvia story.
That stuff is dangerous.
Yeah, salvia is pretty rough. I've never done it, but I've seen like videos.
Yeah, I've seen videos of.
There's like one really famous video of like these two dudes sitting on their back porch, and they both like do a bong rip of it. And, like, they just immediately start having a bad time, like, right away.
I've seen one where, like, this dude, he took, like, a bong rip of, like, he took a bong rip, but it was, like, salvia, and he just, like, jumps out of the window behind him. Just, like, crashes through this window, like, 3 stories up, and just dives down, like, and then got him, ran away.
See, I don't want to do anything that's going to make me do that.
No. Like, I felt bad enough having a panic attack in the hotel room.
Yeah.
Like, I couldn't imagine.
At least you didn't, like, dive out of the balcony.
Right. Like, I still had, like, some type of, like...
Some type of agency.
Yeah, agency about what's going on.
Yeah, I don't want to do anything that's going to cause me to, like, strip naked and eat a man's face off, like the dude on bath salts.
Oh, yeah,
Remember
that was big for a while.
That was huge. Yeah, that was a big story for a long time.
Right.
I remember a lot of people genuinely thought that was a zombie.
Well, that's Walking Dead had just come out, and people were like, oh, fuck.
It's real. I don't know if you can necessarily blame him. The guy was acting like a zombie, and he was eating a person like quite like a zombie would.
What do you expect?
What?
Drugs are wild, especially too
scary.
Like you think about, like enough people have smoked weed where it's like I feel kind of safe about if it's just like a
nobody's ever OD'd on weed.
Yeah, nobody's ever OD'd from weed. You can't do it.
Yeah,
like it's scientifically Willie Nelson would have been dead multiple times by now.
Yeah, you probably felt like you OD'd.
Right, I felt like I was going to die, but I didn't die. Yeah. So, but like you see like people like coke and heroin and like all these other like drugs,
meth,
like
fentanyl.
these hard drugs.
Yeah.
And like you think what is the conversation that gets had the first time you decide to do this?
Yeah.
Like who looks at like black tar heroin and is like,
give me some of that.
I think I'll try that.
Yeah. I don't know, man. Like I don't know because like I said, I was really straight edge for a real long time, right. And then I was just kind of hanging out with somebody that I liked hanging out with,
right?
And I didn't even feel peer pressured. I was like, you know what, I like you, I'll give it a shot,
right?
But I feel that if he had like whipped out a heroin needle, I'd be like, no thanks, I'm gonna go ahead and leave.
I think the main thing, other than the fact that it's black tar heroin, but the main thing that like disbars my entry is that the fact that you have to use a needle to get it in you.
That's a big one.
Yeah. Sorry, not interested.
That's a big one. Yeah, I don't like needles.
No.
Do you remember back? It was when you had your second house in Jacksonville. We had come down there to see you guys, and we were watching that TV show about the girl that had giantism. I think it's called acromegalia.
That sounds sort of familiar.
She was just like a large person. Right. She like had this disorder that caused her to get very
like
big.
Andre the Giant type deal.
Yeah.
Right.
But it was so bad for her. Like it wasn't just like, oh, she got huge and fat. It was like it just didn't stop growing.
Right.
And then they had to give her those shots every day with like that 20 gauge needle.
Just let me die.
I remember watching them put that fucking shot in her hip.
Ugh.
And the medicine inside of it was like peanut butter. And her mom was like pushing the plunger down.
Ugh.
And it was so thick that like her hand was like shaking to push it down, and like the plunger like kind of slipped a little bit.
Oh no. No.
And she had to do that every day. I'd rather fucking die.
You know, our grandmother. So it's story time. So our dad's dad, our pawpaw, he was very sick. Like he had a lot of stuff that was wrong with him.
Yeah.
Like when he passed, he died from a lot of stuff. It just wasn't one thing.
Yeah, it was
like heart failure, heart failure and cancers.
Yeah,
and
Captain D's and Diet Coke and cigarettes for so many years.
So he coming out of the hospital, they had given him some medicine to take. They were like, you have to take these shots every day.
Yeah.
And so our father had gone over he was over there and our grandfather was like, hey, can you give me...
No, we were camping.
Oh, were we camping?
Papa came camping with us.
Okay, that's right. So, and then he was like, hey, give me this shot. And then so Dad gave him the shot in the arm. And he goes, wow, that didn't hurt at all. He's like, what did you do?
Yeah.
And Dad was like, I don't just gave you the shot.
Gave you the shot.
I don't know. He's like, well, damn, when Peggy does it, it fucking hurts. And so, like, a week later, we're over at their house. And our grandfather was like, he's like, I don't know what the hell you're doing. He's like, but it fucking hurts when you give me that shot. And she's like, well, I'm just doing what the nurse told me to do. And he's like, well, what are you doing? And she said, I'd stick it at an angle and straighten it up. Oh, my God.
Oh, my God. Nobody told her to do that. There's a 0% chance anyone told her to do it that way.
I don't understand that, and I love my grandmother. She was a wonderful lady.
Oh, yes.
But I don't know where in the world she got that information from or why she thought that was the correct thing to do.
God almighty.
I remember him being like, give me that shot. Let me fucking give you a shot and see how you like it. He's like, stick it out and I'm going to fucking straighten it up.
Straighten it up. Oh, my God. God, that had to be awful.
It sounds horrendous.
It's like body horror. Like a fucking Cenobite was giving him a shot every time.
Yeah, and it's not like he didn't have like, I don't know, paper thin skin.
Yeah, because he was an old man.
Really not that old.
Yeah, really not, yeah.
He died at 67.
But he did age in dog years.
Yeah, that's true. I love him to death, but he treated his body like a porta potty.
Yeah. Yeah. He was here for a good time.
Yeah, not a long time.
Not a long time. I do miss him. He had lots of good pawpaw stories.
I loved him because he didn't give a fuck.
You know, a lot of people will say, I don't give a fuck. I don't give a fuck. He did not
didn't give a fuck.
Single flying fuck. Not the slightest.
Yeah. He's like, fuck you. I don't give a fuck. And I don't care if you don't like me. Fuck you. And I think a lot of it was just because he was so sick and in so much pain.
Yeah, he's just tired of people fucking with him all the time.
Tired. I'm tired of all you people.
Tired of getting those 45-degree angle shots.
Ugh.
Ugh.
Jesus.
I don't have a good segue for our Super Cringe Thursday because I just had chills over my whole body thinking about getting a shot like that.
Ugh.
So let's just go ahead and jump into it. So our Super Cringe Thursday pick for this week, it's like the love child of a lot of different things gone wrong. It was a commercial for Cinnamon Toast Crunch, which everybody knows is a fantastic cereal.
Yeah, you don't have to do much.
You don't got to do a whole lot for Cinnamon Toast Crunch. Just have have a kid come on, eat a bowl, say, hey, it's fucking Cinnamon Toast Crunch.
Yeah.
You know what this is. Come get it.
Yeah, you don't even have to do a commercial. We all know.
Yeah, just put the box up. Remember this?
Yeah.
It's at the store. Go get it. So the commercial opens up with these three individuals who have no relation to one another sitting around a kitchen table, and they're all eating a bowl of Cinnamon Toast Crunch. And the first person takes a swig of the milk, like the cereal milk, and she has like this weird like CGI smile on her face.
Yeah.
It's very strange.
Yeah, it's odd.
It's weird to look at. It's like that uncanny valley. Like it almost looks real, but it's not. And then the two people sitting on either side.
Something very unsettling about it.
Very unsettling. And then the two people on either side do the same thing. And then it starts playing like this royalty-free, copyright-free version of My Milkshake Brings All the Boys to the Yard.
It's like offbeat.
But it's like this offbeat, like terrible, like they slapped it together in just like a couple of minutes, like before the commercial aired.
It's like they went on Fiverr and like got somebody. They're like, hey. It's probably like some fucking intern that was like, I know how to, I can do this.
I'm just so blown away by the sheer cringe of that commercial. It's difficult. It's one of those things that's just difficult to watch, especially when you just like when all the people start coming in from off screen. Like you have a mailman that comes in, and then you have like this Vince Neil looking guy that comes in, and then like this like interracial gay couple comes in pushing a baby stroller. Yeah. And they're like way gay. They're like they're beyond like commercial gay. Like you have like you have like a newspaper ad gay, commercial gay, and then like HBO Max gay.
Right.
They're HBO gay.
Right.
In a commercial for cereal. And they're pushing like this baby stroller with this CGI baby in it.
No.
And you're like everything like just like being assaulted by all this cringy shit going on. And it's really funny too because like I want to see somebody do one of those shred videos where they remove the music and they just have like the sounds of like their feet scuffing the floor, like when all 10 of them are standing in that on that set dancing. Because that's what it sounded like when they recorded that, when they filmed that in the sound studio, when they filmed that fucking commercial. It was just the sounds of those people dancing in place and breathing heavily.
I love those videos.
My favorite one is the Elvis one.
Have you seen the Taylor Swift one?
Yeah.
That's a good one. Yeah, the crazy thing to me about like corporate cringe is that it gets greenlit by a bunch of different people.
Yeah, it has to go through a lot of channels before that thing hits the air. Like, it has to go through a lot.
Right. It's not like dedicated Wham kid.
No.
Right?
No.
Like, there wasn't a whole lot of hoops that he had to jump through.
Yeah, that went straight to the internet.
Right, that went straight to the internet. Like, this was a conglomeration of people that decided...
Like, people who graduated in marketing.
Right, exactly. I'm sure, and they work for Post, so I'm assuming that there's probably some people up there with, like, Ivy League degrees.
Yeah.
Right? You'd think, like, pretty smart people.
Yeah.
But I guess Cringe crosses all boundaries.
It's just a huge... It's just a big production for something that cringe. Like, there's a lot of hands on deck here. When you start thinking about, like, there was like a costume designer and a set builder, and you had these actors, and you had the person put together the music, and you had the person to edit the shit. And nowhere along that whole process, probably year-long process it took them to make this commercial, did somebody say, we shouldn't air this, it's stupid.
I think that maybe it got to the point at the end where they might have showed it to like a higher up. They're like, I want to see the finished product.
Yeah.
And then they went, how much do we pay for that? And they're like, $5 million. And they're like,
it probably...
fuck it.
Just sunk cost fallacy. Yeah.
Fuck it.
I want to know how much it costs. Now I'm curious.
Right.
How much money was spent on this?
Like, if I was like the VP of marketing and somebody brought that to me, I knew that they were going to make this commercial. I'm assuming that it was probably a VP of marketing at Post. It was probably not. It's not VP of marketing at Cinnamon Toast Crunch. That's not how that works.
No.
Like, they have other cereals that they have to worry about, right? And so they probably brought that up to him, and they're like, I want to see the finished product. And they brought it to him, and I would imagine I would be like, so we've already paid these actors.
Yeah.
We've already paid all these people.
We've already cut the checks.
Right. So we've already cut the checks for this thing.
Yeah.
Well, I can't just
not
just
dump
use it.
Yeah.
Right? Like, I fucked up and didn't see the rough draft because I should have told you no to begin with.
Yeah. I should have looked at this thing before it went gold. I like the thing that they like wheeled in some like AV Club TV into the office. And they're all sitting around like one of those like long tables, And like after the commercial was over, it was just silent for like a couple of like just really long seconds.
Yeah. And then the VP went, "How much do we pay for this?"
Yeah. How much did this cost? I don't want to say that I didn't like it. I'm just disappointed by it.
Right.
Please pack your things.
Because it was, like, I feel like we've talked about this before. The 90s was like a wild time for commercials. Really, the 90s was a wild time.
That wasn't a 90s commercial, though.
Well, no, I'm trying to make the comparison between the two. Like, in the 90s commercials, you had, like, do you remember the commercials for Surge?
Oh, yeah.
Right? So there was, like, a kid, like, on a skateboard. He, like, did a kickflip and then, like, drank some Surge and, like, Surge.
Yeah.
Yeah, and there's, like, a guitar riff in the background, like an eagle screeching.
Yeah, fuck you, Mom!
Like, I would imagine, like, there's probably, like, the VP of marketing, like, did, like, a fucking rip of Coke off the table and was like, yeah, I like it. I like it a fucking lot.
Just like press the button, give me a can of Surge now. The secretary's like, fucking okay. Everybody's just fucking out of their mind.
Like, I'd like to think that it was all just like Wolf of Wall Street type deal, type stuff.
Yeah, remember the Pops commercials?
Oh, yeah.
They were the worst.
You're like, gotta have my Pops.
Gotta have my Pops.
Or like the Cocoa Puffs bird.
Yeah, everybody was like, insane for some reason.
Treated it like it was like he's like fiending for some Cocoa Puffs.
I'll suck your dick for some Cocoa Puffs.
Or like the Chester Cheetah.
Yeah. Well, no, Chester Cheetah was always like the cool, like, wasn't he like kind of like laid back? Wasn't that his thing?
Oh, yeah. Maybe it was the Cocoa Puffs one.
But Honeycomb had their own little, like, whatever that thing was.
Yeah, that was odd.
What the fuck was that thing?
Yeah.
It was like a fur ball with a face and like it had sneakers and like it went crazy.
Like the kids love it.
Everybody's just so out of touch.
It was just like some fucking rat running around.
And the thing is like this particular one, our Super Cringe Thursday one, it was like the fact that it was a royalty free version of my milkshake by who is that? Was that Fergie or Iggy Azalea or
no?
I can't remember who that's by.
Oh fuck, that was by
Lana Del Rey.
No,
I have no idea.
I don't know.
Pink.
No,
is it Pink?
No, it's not Pink. I don't know.
Somebody's screaming at us right now.
Yeah, we'll read it on the next episode of I'm Sorry. I don't remember off the top of my head. Somebody complain and let us know.
But the thing is like that when that commercial aired, it really missed the boat to capitalize on the popularity of that song.
Oh, yeah.
Like 5-6 years.
Oh, yeah. Way behind.
Way behind.
Like, this song has been out. Like, nobody listens to this song like that anymore.
So it's like, a couple years from now, is it going to be like a Captain Crunch commercial using like a WAP? Like a royalty-free version of WAP? Like Crunch Ass Berry or something like that?
I've still never listened to that song. I've never heard it.
I've only ever heard like little snippets of it. Then, of course, I heard Ben Shapiro reading the lyrics.
Oh, I did hear that.
So, I mean, that's, that's an important piece of pop culture at this point.
Right.
Yeah, I don't know. Because when you think about commercials, like how many cringy commercials have you seen? There's not a lot of cringy commercials.
No, they're usually pretty good about... Commercials nowadays just seem kind of soulless.
Well, yeah.
Not really much to it.
Well, yeah. I mean, because, all you got to do is put the product up there and say what it is.
Right.
You not really got to do a whole bunch.
I guess just because I grew up in the 90s.
Yeah.
It was so wild.
Yeah, the bar was set pretty high.
Right.
Yeah.
Like there was, like, the... They had, like, the Easy Bake Oven for the girls, and then for, like, the little boys, they had, like, a thing where you could, like...
Make a gummy dinosaur or
make,
something
like
that.
Like a gummy tarantula.
Yeah.
And, like, the kid bites the head off, and, like, there's, like, an explosion of ooze everywhere.
Yeah. And he, like, throws it at a girl
Yeah, he,
and
like,
they'll
throws
scream.
it at a girl and, like, hits her in the head.
But I mean, like,
and he's, like, wearing some, like, Vans or whatever.
Yeah. Like, spiked hair. But like most commercials that you see are either like, just informative,
right,
or, they might be a little bit clever,
right,
but they're not ever like whatever the fuck this Cinnamon Toast Crunch commercial is.
Right.
Like most of like the people let their creative juices flow like around like Super Bowl time because
right,
people kind of expect that. But it's like, this is like a commercial that airs in like February.
Right.
Like what?
Like mid-June.
What are we doing here?
Right. Yeah, I don't, the ones that always get me is like the like the commercials for like new medications.
Yeah.
Right? There's like it's so odd to me.
Yeah,
Like,
it is.
Kind of the way they present it, right?
Yeah.
There's always like it's like, do you suffer from like
crusty nutsack.
Yeah, crusty nutsack. It's like, well, Schmaxel can take care of that for you. And there's like, and it's like, and there's like some dude that's like at the gym. He like shoots a 3-pointer and like swishes, and he's like does the fist pump.
He like daps somebody up. Nobody knows I have crusty nuts.
Yeah. And then there's like a lady like walking through a field with her husband or whatever.
Or like always like the people like in bathtubs on the beach.
Yeah. And there's like another like there's like a grandmother with her like her grandson, like they're taking a cooking class or something.
Yeah. But like all that B-roll is like 90% of this commercial is like all the like legal stuff they have to say,
right?
So that they can't be held accountable for when your nutsack deteriorates and your balls fall off.
It's like and then like you said, like they'll go through this long list of like shit that can happen to you if you decide to take this medicine, which most of the time sounds worse than what it is that you're actually dealing with.
Yeah, they're like if you have a sneezing fit and your heart comes out of your ear, stop taking Schmaxel. It's like, I promise you I'll stop.
And for some reason, diarrhea is always like a side effect.
For everything.
For everything.
Every single drug. Diarrhea is like going to be the number one guy.
Right.
Like, hey, it's me. You can always count on me, diarrhea. I tell you what commercial used to really fuck me up was I God, I don't remember the name of the medication, but it had like this little yellow dude that would like lift people's big toes up and like wiggle underneath them.
Not tough actin.
What was it called?
Shit.
It's not Lotrimin. It's
damn it.
It's
shit. It's like an antifungal deal.
Yeah.
Oh, damn it. What's the name of that medicine?
It's going to drive you crazy, isn't it? Is it right on the tip?
It's on the tip of my tongue. Because I can hear the guy in the commercial say the name of it. Oh, fuck.
Let's see. Yellow fungus toenail creature.
Yeah.
That's what I'm going to Google. Well, here's the guy. I reckon. Okay.
Yeah, it's not Lotrimin.
Lamisil.
Yeah.
Yeah, so the fucking Lamisil commercials used to freak me out, obviously, because I don't like toenails. And, and he would be like, hey, I'm the Lamisil monster. Hey, you want to lift up your fucking toenail and get under there. And he would, like, walk over and, like, rip a dude's big toenail off.
Like, jump in there.
Yeah. And I'm like, oh, can that happen?
Well, it's like... It's kind of amazing to me, like, how, like, certain commercials, like, they have, like a known, like, character or whatever that they use. Like, Charmin has the bears.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, like mascots.
Yeah, like a mascot for the commercial, right? So, and then, like, Progressive has Flo.
Right.
There's no telling how much money she's made from those commercials.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I mean, Geico, before there was the lizard, they had Caveman. Remember their thing was Caveman?
Yeah, Caveman.
Well, it's because their slogan was, so easy a caveman could do it.
Right.
So they had the Caveman commercials. They had made a TV show. You remember the Caveman TV show?
Oh, yeah, I do remember that.
I never watched it, but I do remember that they made a TV show. Yeah.
What a wild time to be alive.
Yeah. Like, a lot of stuff gets adapted into TV.
Right.
Not typically commercials.
The craziest one that you told me about was the AT&T girl.
Mommy Milkies.
I guess because she's a very busty individual.
She is. She's a very curvaceous woman. Her name is I think her name is Milana Vaintrub or something like that.
Very Eastern European.
Yeah, she had an Eastern European type name. I don't know if we've ever covered her on the podcast before or not, but she's yeah, she just is a shapely woman. She can't help it. This is how she is.
Right.
So there's a lot of AT&T commercials, where the clothes that they have her in, they're normal clothes, but she is a voluptuous woman, so you can see, you can see a lot of her hips and a lot of her bust as well, and people in the YouTube comments. They're drawn to that kind of thing.
Of course, well, YouTube's a fucking cesspool.
And so they just, of course, they find out the name of who this lady is. They find her Instagram. They find her this, that, and the other. And they just start calling her Mommy Milkies. And they won't stop calling her that. And it's kind of sad because there's this kind of infamous like Instagram live video that she did now where she's trying to appeal to the better nature of internet strangers, which, God bless her, you can't do that.
You can't do that.
And it's just milk glass emojis going up the screen.
Jesus.
Bunch of fucking animals.
Like, if you get yourself into a situation like that, the best thing to do
is
to either ignore it or embrace it.
Yeah.
And be like, yeah.
Well, I mean, for her professional career, I don't think she could necessarily embrace it.
Well, no.
But,
I'm not talking about like embracing it, like, oh, here's my tits.
Well, no. I mean, I
just mean like, yeah, I got big boobs. Like, I don't.
It is what it is.
What do you mean to do?
I think for her, the best thing to have done would be to ignore it, because once you start asking them to stop, then they know they have your attention.
Exactly.
And then it's over. There's blood in the water at that point.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of the more recent AT&T commercials. She's wearing like very big sweaters and like it's shot from like mid-chest up.
Right.
And like they're like, okay, quit looking at this lady and buy our cellular service.
Right.
You horny fuckers.
Well, I mean, they could have. Like, she's a very attractive woman, but they could have hired a very unattractive woman to sell the phones. or the service.
You know,
if that's what they wanted to do, but that's not what you do. You get somebody that looks good to try to sell your product.
you get a textbook person.
Right.
You ever notice how the people like in your textbooks are very, very unassuming?
Right.
They land smack in the middle of like they're not ugly,
Right.
but they're not attractive. They're just a person.
Just a person.
Like a computer made them or something.
Right.
Like this is what a human looks like.
Yeah. Who man?
Who man? So yeah, you get one of those type of people, unless you're using sex to sell your product, which
Exactly.
everybody knows that sex sells. Now, whoever did the recruiting, somebody had to recruit for Lily, the AT&T girl, and I would imagine, I don't know if this for a fact, but I would imagine that Miss Vaintrub walked in there wearing something that did accentuate her features.
Right.
And there's probably some old dude in there who needed smacks all for his nuts.
Right.
And he said, that's the girl.
Yeah, there we go.
Yeah. You're going to be big, honey. They're going to love you.
Well, you know, and then also, too, like, you see, like, guys that are, like, super jacked or in really good shape.
Yeah.
And of course, you're going to wear a shirt that's very form-fitting.
Yeah.
Like, I've
You're
worked
probably-
very hard.
you're
like,
proud of your body,
You're very
yeah.
proud of your body.
Yeah.
I don't think that you shouldn't be if, like, you've put in a lot of work or, like, if you're a good-looking person.
Yeah.
However, like, for AT&T's sake, like, don't look at me and be like, that wasn't the point of this, because I know for a fact
Yeah.
that you could have went and hired somebody very ugly to sell your product.
Yeah, or just a normal person.
Or just a normal person.
Yeah, because if you hired a really ugly person, then people would have been like, hey, what's with this ugly fuck on the AT&T commercials? Or some, like, morbidly obese person.
That whole thing is really wild to me. Like, the whole, like, how can I put this? Is that I don't have any problem with people that, you know, are overweight and they're fine with it. They're like, I don't care. Like, it just is what it is. Like, I like to eat and I really don't like to go, you know, work out or do any of that other stuff. Like, it's not what I want to do. Like, I'm fine with that. I have no problem
You're
with
free
it.
to do that.
You're free to do that.
Yeah.
It's your own life. You do what you want. But I don't appreciate, like, people who look at people like that and then tell them, like, that's okay. Like, not that it's, like, you know what I mean?
Like trying to say, like, that whole like healthy at every size type thing.
Right.
Yeah, because it's damaging.
Yeah, it is
Yeah.
damaging. It's like you're not helping this person.
No, you're not helping
Right.
that person, and you're not helping people who, you know, are, you know, who are probably struggling with the same thing.
Right. And it's also incumbent upon the person themselves
Yeah.
to be like, I'm gonna do this now, but I'm gonna do it for me.
Yeah,
that
yeah.
way I can feel better about myself and I can get healthy and live a long time. Or it's like nowadays, like, it's like that 600-pound life show or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's fucking wild.
Yeah.
Wild.
Some of the people I've seen on that show, it's bizarre.
It's fucking insane.
It's absolute insanity. There's
Like-
like the two sisters, the two
Right.
famous sisters, the one that has like a fucking bulbous bicep on her forehead
Right.
because she's so big.
It's like the pigs. They like get all the
Yeah.
Like,
You
it's
ever
what it
notice
looks
how
like.
like people that get so fat like that, they all had the same face?
Right.
Like all their facial features just get smooshed into the
Right.
middle of their head. They all look like the same person. Yeah, I mean, so it's not okay to, bully anybody because of how they look.
No, that's not what I'm saying.
Even if they look that way because of poor life choices, like it's
Right.
not. You have no place to go and bully that person because they look that way. But if you are a morbidly obese 600-pound person and you are telling me that I'm a piece of shit because I'm going to the gym or I'm healthy,
Right.
then I have a
Exactly.
problem with you.
Then I have a major
Because
problem with what you're saying.
you are doing is you're trying to get more people to live your unhealthy lifestyle, and you're positing it as if it's okay to do that.
Right.
That's not okay.
No.
You are actively damaging people.
Right.
Yeah. So there's a lot of, especially nowadays, and it's real bad on TikTok too, is there's a lot of really, 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 really big people who are, who are trying to say that it's okay if you want to be as big as me. It's not as unhealthy as you think it is. Or like, the BMI scale was made by the blah, 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 or whatever, this, that, and the other. It's a bunch of nonsense. I don't think that you're a bad person.
No.
Because you're large.
No.
I think you're a bad person because you are saying that being large is not going to hurt you.
Right.
It is. It is directly linked to heart failure and diabetes and all these other things.
This is well known.
Yeah.
Well, I can tell you for a fact that before I started like running a lot, like I was close to 300 pounds, like 298 pounds.
Yeah.
I was large, big. It's like, but since I've taken time to go and run, you don't have to run though. You can go for a walk.
Yeah.
Just go for a 2-mile walk, or go walk as much as you can walk, and then just progressive over. Like you don't have to look like Arnold Schwarzenegger. You don't have to look like these people that you see.
Yeah, you don't gotta look like fucking Gwyneth Paltrow.
No,
you don't gotta
have to look like
pounds.
that.
Yeah.
It's like, but you should take a more active approach to your health if you want to feel better.
Yeah.
As opposed to, like you said, like telling other people that they shouldn't do those things, that they should feel bad about themselves if they're trying to lose the weight.
Yeah.
Because you don't want to do it.
Yeah.
That's not okay.
It's because, everybody loves an easy out.
Right.
Right. And so it's very easy to surround yourself with people who are going to tell you that it's okay that you're doing the things that you're doing.
You just surround yourself with a bunch of yes men.
Rather than somebody who's going to be like, you need to get your shit together. Like, like I'm a big guy. Like, I'm I'm fat. I mean, just it is what it is. But I mean, I can still walk.
Right.
Like I don't have to ride a little rascal all around fucking Walmart.
Like Walmart. Yeah.
Like I'm still functioning.
Right.
And once you get to a point where you're like, you can't wipe your own ass, or
that's the people I'm talking about.
Yeah, or you got to put fucking baby powder under your rolls so that you don't get like lesions.
Ugh. Well, I just don't understand. Like, I mean, I get it. I get how it could probably get that way because you don't pay attention to sort of the things that you're eating. You become more sedentary. You're not moving as much. And it just kind of compounds. And it's like if you don't take an active approach to those things, like if you don't have something that you're like, I really want to go do this outside, like every day. I enjoy doing it. Like I can see how that would be. It's very difficult. Like once you sort of get into that routine of just like, I'm going to sit on the couch and like watch TV and eat snacks all day.
Yeah.
Like it's fun to do those things. But
it's like with everything else, too much of anything.
Right, too much of anything is a bad thing. I mean, even too much exercise is a bad thing. You get rhabdomyosis.
Yeah,
it's like which essentially is the muscle breaking down and being absorbed by the body.
Yeah, or you get shin splints.
There's tons of things. Like overdoing anything is not good for you. Yeah. You can do most things in moderation. That's the best way to do it.
Yeah, everything in moderation.
As opposed not like black tar heroin and coke.
yeah.
I was gonna do a little bit.
I'm only gonna shoot myself in the head with a gun a little bit. So before we run out of time, we do have a correction that we need to read on "I'm sorry." Here's the soundbite.
We're sorry.
There you go. I'm sorry. So a couple of episodes ago, I don't remember which episode this was, but I had talked about how Fanta was made by the Nazis, or it was made in Nazi Germany. I was mostly wrong about that. So there was an embargo for Coca-Cola products, but Fanta wasn't made by Nazis in Germany. It was made by Coca-Cola in Germany. Since the embargo meant they couldn't ship it in, they got around it by producing Fanta inside the nation. That correction comes from Chris Camp, an avid listener of the podcast.
Shout out to you, Chris. Thank you for your correction.
So I think it's funny that Coca-Cola did the old double dip there.
They're like, listen, we're not going to miss out on a market. That's not going to happen.
It was like, so the government obviously imposed the embargo, right? And the government was like, hey, we're not going to ship your product into Germany anymore. Right. And Coca-Cola was like, well, we'll just make it in Germany then.
Yeah, it's pretty wild to me. Like, as much as I am like if you were to look at like the political chart, like the graph or whatever, like I'm about as far down right as you can get. Yeah. Like even to me, that's pretty wild.
Yeah, I just thought it was funny. I mean, it's like
have you no shame?
Yeah, like none at all. Like, don't you know what those people are doing over there? Like, I know, I understand, I get that.
Yeah.
But I gotta sell my drinks.
Yeah. Like, hey, Nazis drink sodas too.
They gotta drink something.
They gotta drink something.
Why not be a Coke? Isn't the Coca-Cola formula like I'm pretty sure I've heard this before, but don't they have it like split up in a half? Like one half of the formula is on this piece of paper and the other half is on this piece of paper, and they're both in like safes on like opposite sides of the country or whatever.
Probably.
Like it's that closely guarded.
And wasn't it there was like somebody like that was trying to sell Coke's recipe to Pepsi at some point, and Pepsi told Coke about it?
Yeah. Yeah, big integrity points for Pepsi.
Yeah.
Pepsi was like, hey, come on. Come on, guy.
He's like, hey, I got some information you might want to know.
Yeah. I think Pepsi's thing was we want to be better than Coke. We don't want to be Coke.
Right.
Yeah. Which, I mean, that's a tall order.
Yeah.
If anybody's in second place, obviously it's going to be Pepsi.
Right. It's not good.
Yeah. Pepsi is...
Wild cherry Pepsi's pretty good.
I was thinking about that the other day.
It's much better than cherry Coke.
I like a lot of the flavored ones.
Yeah.
Like for Coke and Pepsi both. Like I don't drink a ton of soda, but like I like vanilla Coke is like my favorite as far as like Coke goes. But there was like lime Coke with lime.
No.
That was pretty good. It tastes exactly like Sprite.
No.
There was orange and vanilla Coke for a while. That was really good. It kind of tastes like creamsicle.
No.
But like regular Coke by itself or like regular Pepsi by itself, it's like there's something, I feel like I'm drinking some kind of like descaling solution.
See, like Coke to me like has more of like a fizz and a bite to it. Where like Pepsi to me
more
seems
smooth.
Yeah, Pepsi to me just seems flat.
Flat, really, yeah.
Like anytime I drink a Pepsi, it's flat.
Yeah.
Like unless, like I said, like wild cherry Pepsi is really good. I like wild cherry Pepsi. I feel like as far as like the two main ones, which would be Coke and Pepsi, like the flagship kind of like drink for those brands or whatever. Obviously, Coke is much better than Pepsi. In my opinion.
Yeah.
However, like if you start going down the lineup, I do like a lot more of Pepsi's lineup than I like than Coke's lineup.
Are you talking about even like the like their version?
Like Sunkist is better, I think, than Fanta.
Oh, really? Yeah.
Yep.
Do you like Sierra Mist?
I do like Sierra Mist.
Yeah. To me, I like Sprite as far as like the lemon lime thing. As far as lemon lime is concerned, I like Sprite. My favorite Sprite, and I don't know why this is, but my favorite Sprite was always a Sprite and a big like souvenir cup from Six Flags.
Oh yeah.
Like after you've been walking around the park all day long.
No.
Like you've been on the Monster Plantation and Thunder River and all that stuff, and you get a big Sprite.
Oh yeah.
That costs $11.
Yeah. Well, there's probably like $50 now.
For some reason, that was always so satisfying.
I remember too. Like back in the day, Sprite did like the Sprite remix thing or whatever. And
was that where they had like different flavors? Like they did like cranberry and
like a lot of people said it. I don't really ever remember drinking it because I've never really been big on Sprite. But they a lot of people said it tasted like, because I guess people used to take Skittles and they'd drop them in the Sprite. Really? And they'd let the Skittles dissolve in the Sprite and then drink the Sprite.
Isn't that just sugar?
Yeah, just straight sugar. Like,
I'm going to take this sugar and put it in
the sugar.
This carbonated corn syrup. Just like
but
suck it down.
Yeah, I think that as far as like, is Dr. Pepper part of the Pepsi family, or is that its own thing?
I think it is part of the Pepsi thing. I think Mr. Pibb is its own thing.
Right. So Mr. Pibb is Coke.
Is it?
Yes, Mr. Pibb is affiliated with Coke. The only reason why I say that is because, and I think that it is affiliated with Pepsi, just because, like, if you look at the 2-liter bottles, like, you can always tell, like, oh, this is from this brand.
Yeah.
Like, the 2-liter bottle for Pepsi is much more cylindrical, and Coke's got like
it's got like a taper.
Yeah. Like a taper to it. It's really weird. I don't know why they chose to do that, but... And I think, like, Dr. Pepper looks more like the Pepsi bottle. Yeah. And then Mr. Pibb, it looks a lot like the Coke. It's the same thing that they use for Coke.
So, do you agree with me that depending on what container you drink it out of changes the flavor?
Oh, yeah.
So, I think we can all agree that a plastic bottle is the worst way to drink any soda.
Awful.
All sodas taste the worst out of a plastic bottle. I think second best is going to be a can.
Yes.
The first best is always going to be glass bottle.
Yes, glass bottle is always
Something
best.
about a glass bottle makes all those drinks way more enjoyable.
Now, also, am I getting out of a fountain? Because some fountain drinks taste much different.
Yeah.
Like a fountain, like if you have Sprite from McDonald's from the fountain,
Oh yeah.
if they actually put the fucking syrup in it,
it's like crispy.
yes, it's like drinking static.
Like drinking that like white noise out of your TV screen.
That's like the worst. Is when anytime I've ordered a Sprite and there's been like no syrup in it, like ugh,
Yeah.
ugh.
And the bad thing was,
And you
it's like,
can't tell.
No, you can't tell either. Like when it's because it's clear.
Right.
It's like if you've ever been like getting like Coke out of a fountain or whatever, and like it's
very
coming
obvious.
out brown, and all of a sudden it comes out white. You're like, oh, this is out.
Right.
But with Sprite, you never know until you take that first sip. This is fizzy
I
water.
feel like the fucking Saw guys like want to play a game.
What I can't stand is flavored water.
Ooh.
Like if I'm gonna drink water, I just want to drink water.
Like
Just
a
regular plain
La
water.
Croix.
Yeah, like that, or like Propel.
Oh, ooh,
Propel is
yeah.
the worst. I don't.
Like at least like with La Croix, like
La Croix.
it's
Croissant.
yeah, it's like it's at least they put some fizz in it. Like there's like some carbonation. Like they try to put a little something in it.
Yeah.
They'll try to do a little something.
Give you something.
Yeah, but Propel's just like this flat.
Yeah, it's just not good.
Ugh.
It is not good.
It's
I don't know who that's for.
Yeah. And they keep doing it. Who's drinking this?
Yeah, I don't see anybody drinking this. I don't see these
No.
bottles in the garbage anywhere.
No.
They're
it's
not in the litter on
it's
the streets.
Yeah, you'll go into the grocery store and you're like, how long has that been sitting there?
Yeah.
It's like from 2006.
There's
Like,
like
y'all
some-
still selling it?
It's like some like a hermit wearing like a leopard skin comes in there. It's like, how my Propel? And only guy that buys it.
Because I remember a couple times where like mom bought some Propel, like the lemon flavored one or whatever,
Yeah.
and like drink. I was like, ugh.
Oh, what is this?
Yeah, just give me water. Like I
kinda
want just water.
Yeah. I'm just drinking like saliva. Ugh.
It's like, yeah, it tastes more thick too.
Yeah.
Like it's more viscous.
Like thick water.
Some thick water.
Oh, maybe that'll be one of our first products if we ever do merch. Thick water. Thick boy water. Well, I think that's about all we got time for today, everybody. So, as always, thank you very much for listening. We always do. We do appreciate the support. If you guys are enjoying the podcast and you haven't yet, make sure you leave a like and a rating and a review, all that good stuff. Tell your friends about the podcast. Share it on your Facebook page.
Follow,
do all those
subscribe.
good things. Last May, I submitted an inquiry to Facebook about why we can't run ads anymore. It says it's in review as of today. So we're coming up.
Oh,
Yeah.
hey!
So maybe we'll get an answer soon about why that can't be. I have an idea. I think I know what it was.
Oh, yeah?
So in our first year of doing this podcast, I posted this image of Joe Biden pointing a gun at a lady. It was very clearly Photoshopped.
Right.
Like, obviously it's Photoshopped.
Right.
And I made a joke
you
about...
made somebody mad.
I made a joke. I was like, I'm going to laugh if this gets automatically fact-checked by Facebook. And, of course, it did.
Yeah.
It like had a little thing that popped up that says, Joe Biden didn't really point a gun at a lady. And I think that's what it was.
Yeah.
I think we got tagged for that.
No,
So-
you made somebody mad.
Well, that's what I do. So hopefully we can get that cleared up, and then, I don't know, maybe we can help the podcast get some steam. But
That was actually really helpful when we were able to boost the post.
It really was.
Especially when
Yeah.
when we were able to link it with the Spotify and the Apple
Yeah.
Music and everything.
because people like at least click the link that counted as a download. Yeah.
I thought it helped a lot because we were actually getting some more visibility, and then once that kind of happened, we got zucked and.
Yeah, it may have very well have been my fault. So in the meantime, we would appreciate any shares or reviews or anything that helps appease the algorithm gods. But if you guys have any questions, comments, or concerns, anything you'd like us to speak on, if you have any advice you need or any questions like that, make sure you reach out to us on the Facebook page, or you can email us at thiccboypodcast@gmail.com. You can also follow us on Twitter. We're over there as well. And if we have anything that we were wrong about or anything we offended you with, make sure you let us know, and we'll read it out on the new section we have on the podcast called I'm Sorry. Do you have anything you'd like to close with?
Nope. Just thank you for the continued support. Like Gary said, if you're enjoying the podcast, make sure you're leaving a like or a review on your favorite podcast platform. Also, don't forget to follow or subscribe, however it is that they're doing that, where you enjoy listening. Also, too, if you've been enjoying it, let us know if you would like a video version of it, because I think that we can probably get some. We can get the shit to go on the walls down here.
Yeah, make it look a little nicer.
Yeah, make it look nicer. We can be a little bit more presentable.
Yeah,
and then maybe we can start doing some. We can record and just upload it to YouTube. That way we can maybe reach some more people there too.
Yeah,
I think that would be fun.
I was thinking about that too, because we have an enormous backlog of episodes. At the very least, of course we don't have any video for those,
right?
But at the very least, I can put those up against just a background of our profile picture or something,
yeah.
And start kind of cataloging some of that stuff there as well.
Right.
So
so if you want to see that, if you'd like to see our content on YouTube, let us know, and then we'll start trying to get that kind of moved over there. That way, if you want to listen to it on YouTube, I know that some people listen to their podcasts on YouTube.
Yeah, I think YouTube has a podcast platform.
Oh, do they?
I don't know if, because we do ours through Buzzsprout, right?
Right.
And it goes to a bazillion different,
all of them.
It goes to all of them. I don't know if YouTube podcasts is on there or not, or even if that's really a thing. I might just be talking out of my ass. I don't really know, but we might. We'll see about doing something like that. Because we could record a video down here, but I don't think Mary wants the world to know what it looks like down here.
So I think, and plus that, and I found those ones, I just haven't bought them yet. So I'll try to get your address, then I'll just buy those and then get them sent over here. And then maybe one weekend we can take and put some of them up and then
do something down
make
here.
It,
maybe paint the walls or something.
Paint the walls. We can
get some purple
stuff.
LED lights to go around the ceiling.
Yeah, we can get some pictures or some posters or something, put them up, make it look real nice in here.
Hang in there, baby.
But if you want to see some of our content on YouTube, let us know. I think that might help with some visibility as well too. We'd really like to be able to grow the podcast and continue to do it. It's been really fun. I've enjoyed it a lot.
Well, we have slowly been growing. Like I said, I've been looking at our numbers, whatever, and our listeners, our downloads per episode are going up, and we have some new followers on the Facebook page.
No.
So if you're new, hello.
Hello.
I hope you've been joining. And you're not what the fuck is this?
Yeah. So I think that would be fun. I would think it would be fun to maybe do some skit comedy type stuff.
Yeah.
That would be fun to do.
Yeah, we have a lot of ideas.
Yeah, we have some ideas.
Do you remember that night where we were kind of putting stuff together to start the podcast? And we were talking about finding somebody on Fiverr who does unboxing videos and just sending them a ton of random shit.
Send them a whole thing of beans or something.
Yeah.
A box full of beans.
A box of beans. It was a banana. I think the favorite one was because you had this spreadsheet. It's still on our Google Drive.
Oh, is it?
And at the top of the spreadsheet, it just says dildo tech review.
Oh, yeah. I remember that.
We talked about taking a 120-volt electrical cord and just having it coming out the back of a regular dildo. So you just plug it into the wall and it doesn't do anything.
Oh, God.
But yeah. Well, that's the podcast, everybody. Thank you and goodbye.
Bye, everyone.